Hello everyone! This hour on Verbling, the next in my speaking skills series. This is class 16 and we're working on our speaking skills for describing photos and their themes. A little more about that in just a minute. First, a little bit about me. I'm Jon-Eric, your Verbling teacher for this hour. I'm an American teacher from New York, hanging out from Lisbon, Portugal to bring you this class. Here are 3 quick rules to help you participate in my class. Don't forget to Don't forget to do what? Let's try that again. Don't forget to turn off, tune in, and open up. That means when you're not speaking, please turn off your microphone so we can keep the classroom nice and quiet. When you are speaking, please tune in to the new words and expressions that you learn so that we can use them actively and I can give you lots of feedback and help you. And finally, rule 3 is open up to your classmates. Relax and have fun. We're all here to learn, and this is a safe and respectful place to practice your English. And that is a bit about me. Let me just get my name up there on the screen, and we will get started. I think I got it working. Let's see. Yeah, there we go. No, didn't work yet. Hold on. Let's try it again. There we go. So, Jason Bourne, are you back from your secret mission? Long time no see. Let me see if I can. Oh, very good. Let me see if I can. There we go. How is life, Jason?
Your life is good.
Good.
Yeah, I just came back from a trip in England.
Very good. But you were looking for a job, weren't you?
Yes. No, yes. I'm looking for a job.
Still?
Yeah, but
oh
yeah.
No. I know how you feel. It takes a while. But nice to see you again. It's been a while. Let's say hello also to some new faces here. We've got Tony. Hello, Tony. I don't think I know you.
Hi, teacher. No, nice to meet you.
You are from where?
Italy.
Italy. Okay. Where in Italy, Tony?
In Italy, it's too hot, to be honest.
But where are you from in Italy?
From the south of Italy.
From the south?
Basilicata.
I don't know that.
Yes, it's a small region.
How far south? All the way in the south part? Or I've been as far as Capri and Sorrento. That's as far as I got.
It's a little bit more in the south of Sorrento and Capri.
So I missed you. I didn't get that far. Next time, I'll get down there. Nice to have you anyway. And we've got Naomi. Hello, Naomi. Where are you from?
Hello, I'm from Spain.
Okay, fantastic. Nice to have you. And we lost Yuki. Maybe Yuki will be back. And Faisal. Hello, Faisal. How are you? Faisal, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's not Faisal, it's Faisal. And you were here before, right? I remember you.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay.
Okay, and I'm fine. And how about you?
I'm all right. Look, let's get started. Because I just realized we're running a little short of time. Oh, Yuki's back. Okay. Here's what we're going to do. I've given you a link. Oh, and Giuseppe too. Wow, look at this. Full house. I've given you a link. In the last week, we used the pictures in the notes that I've given you. I'm going to share my screen so you can see exactly where we are. So take a look right here. Oh, let me go to the very top. So, I don't know if I can share my screen with this document. I'll give it a try. What I mean is, I always have to download these as PDFs or else I can't see you. So let me see if I can download that as I'm showing you this. I don't know if it's going to work. Let me see if I can do this. Download as PDF. So I'm downloading it to my computer because that way I can really share this with you. Otherwise, it's not going to work very well. Okay, yeah, it looks like it's working. Okay, but anyway, while that's downloading, let me just quickly... Now, I can't do anything with this document. Okay, let me open the PDF first. I don't know. I switched to Google Chrome and I'm still having problems with screen sharing. Oh, okay, now it's working. Oh, I see. Maybe the problem is that I can't download and share things with you. Maybe that's the problem. So let me open this folder. Come on, show folder. There we go. Give me a second just to open this properly because right now everything is frozen as usual. Let me get this open. 1 second. All right. I'm going to share my screen in it because right now it's not working properly. So give me just a second to get this back on. Okay, so let me try to share the PDF. That will be a little bit easier. Okay, so your first page, you should see this. I know it's a little small, but on the second page, you'll see links to all the classes we've done so far. If I have news, I'll put it there. So there are two important things. How to describe photos or pictures, which I separated, so you can go to that. And the notes for the class today, which says class 16, the 11th of June. Let's go to, oh, and one more important thing. On the next page, you'll see links and information, and I've been collecting all of our connectors, words like, well, I should start by saying, so to sum up, in a nutshell. All of these little expressions we've used to connect ideas are in one big map, one big visual map. And you can, I've shared it with you, so you can click on that link if you want to open it. But I'll put the essential information in the notes. So if you want everything, you go to the map. If you want just to see what we've done in the past class, you'll go just to the notes. Either way will be okay. So, how to describe photos. First, this is a class which helps expand your vocabulary, but is also good for test taking, like the TOEFL or the BEC or the FCE or the CAE or the IELTS or the TOEIC, any place where you have to speak freely and you're given visual clues or prompts. So what I've done is put some basic ones down in a kind of a format. And you'll see that there's 4 steps to this format. This gives you a kind of structure when you see a photo for the first time. The 4 steps are: say what you see, guess about why you're seeing it, compare and contrast it to something you know or are familiar with. Step 4 is offer a personal preference. And I've added some basic connectors in those 4 steps to help get you started. In the last class, on the 15th, I put one example that we did together as a group, and you can see it there. So let's go first to the picture. Just as a quick review. First to the picture, you'll see on the left a group of young teenagers working on computers, and on the right there's a guy in a classroom, looks like a teacher probably. We worked only on the photo on the left as a class, and this is what we came up with. All of the connectors from the mind map are in bold. Well, it seems to be, actually let me put this on the screen. Let me put the picture on the screen first. So I'll read it from the notes, but you can take a look as I read. Okay? So take a look there. Let me go back to my notes. Okay. Well, it seems to be a computer class for teenagers. They appear very focused. You can tell because of the expression on their faces. I suppose in this classroom there is sort of an exam going on. As you know, computer skills are very important, both for getting a job as well as imagine. They are all keen on developing their computer skills for that reason. In other words, that's why they're in the class. When I was young, oh, we should add a little connector there. We should say, as a matter of fact, as a matter of fact. I'll add that to the mind map a little later. As a matter of fact, when I was young, I had some computer classes as well. Nowadays, kids are learning much more state-of-the-art skills like Flash and JavaScript and how to code and how to use databases, not to mention using really powerful computers. Conversely, we only had simple computers like the Apple II and learned how to program simple things like Logo. So I prefer to be in that kind of class like we see in the photo. All right, it's not bad. Our main goal was to use those connectors to structure how we described the photo. So it's not bad, considering that everyone in the class gave a different line. It wasn't one person speaking, it was everyone together. But it's not bad at all. In fact, in a test, I'd say it would definitely give you a passing grade. Maybe it could be improved slightly by being a little more coherent, but like I said, it's not bad. So what we're going to do as a group is give you a little more practice by looking at the second picture, going through the same process in the first 5 minutes or so of the class. Everyone puts in a line using one of the connectors in the mind map, but then we're going to compare and contrast it to the previous picture. So right now, you can see both pictures on screen. What I want you to focus on is the picture on the right. And what we're going to do is go through those steps that I mentioned before, the 4 steps. Say what you see, guess, speculate about why, compare and contrast it to something you know, and offer a personal preference. Exactly like we did in the last picture. Once we have a little monologue developed there with all 4 steps, we can then try this individually, and we'll just have practice with a new set of photos. Our goal here is to figure out what to say, to structure it with connectors, and we're connecting it to the larger theme. So that's something to really keep in mind. When you compare and contrast it, what is it that both of these pictures have in common? All right? So let's get started. As you speak, I'm going to be writing on page, I guess I'll do this on page 6. Yeah, on a class 16, I'll do this. So I'll call this photo 2. Give me a second here. Let me just quickly get the text I want. Okay, we'll call this photo 2. I'm going to say teacher. I don't know if he's a teacher, but I assume he is. I'll say teacher. All right. And what I want you to do, starting with Faisal, I want you to take one of those expressions you see in the mind map if you've opened the link, or you can use one of the expressions you see on page 4 in how to describe a photo or picture. And I'd like you to start by saying one important detail that you see. Okay? We're each going to go around and do one. So give me a detail in the picture on the right.
On the right. Okay. It seems to be a teacher let the students asking question.
It seems to be a teacher, and the second part was
that that his student asking questions to him.
So it seems to be a teacher. Where is the teacher?
In the middle, the man who wearing
No, not who, not who. Wait, not who. Where is the teacher physically? Where is he?
He is in the middle of the class,
Okay.
in front of the table, and then where is it? And then seeing this, and then sorry, yeah, I think the teacher is in the middle of the class, in front of the desk. Yeah.
Okay, that's good for now. I'm just going to change two things. Instead of it seems to be, which is okay, because we're seeing a person, I'm going to say there seems to be. So there seems to be a teacher, and then I'm going to put that together with the second thing you said. There seems to be a teacher in the middle of a classroom taking questions.
From the student.
Okay? So far, so good. Giuseppe, I'd like you to add a detail that Faisal didn't mention.
Okay. I suppose the teacher is interrogating the students, and the students.
Oh, you've moved on to step 2. You're speculating now.
Yeah.
Okay, so
It
let's
is
do
the.
that. Okay, fine, no problem. Let's do it. Okay, so I
Yeah.
suppose what?
I suppose the teacher is interrogating.
Interrogating. Oh my God, are they being arrested?
No,
Oh
no.
no. Oh no, I hope he's not interrogating. Torturing them? No. Interrogating it's too harsh. It's too harsh.
Okay. Which is the words, the appropriate words?
You tell me. You tell me. Use everyday words. In this case, the only special words we're going to use are just the connectors. So here, other than that, we're going to use everyday common words, because if you're in a test situation, you don't have time to do anything fancy. When you're writing, you can. Okay, so what's a normal way to talk about questions and answers? What's a normal verb we can use? Nothing fancy.
I don't know. Let me first say something about.
Sure. Okay.
So, for example, the teacher is saying, let me first point out that today we are talking about a special topic, and then he's asking to the classroom, what's the point? What do you think about something else, something like that?
Okay, so use the verb he is asking, right?
Yes.
Sounds fine. Yeah. Saying, asking, but not interrogating. That sounds like you're under suspicion by the government. So,
okay.
Right? It sounds good. So I suppose I'm just going to change one thing here. He has introduced some topic and is asking students. What was the last part? What's he asking the students? I forgot what you said. Sorry.
He's asking the students what do they think about the topic he's introducing.
Okay, not what do they think, because that's a direct question. You're giving an indirect question. He's asking students what they think, not what do they think. If I look at you in the eyes and I say, Giuseppe, what do you think? That's correct. But if I talk about that question, I have to get rid of do in an indirect question. So he is asking students what they think about it, about the topic. Is that clear, the difference between direct and indirect questions?
Yeah, for me, yes. Okay.
Yeah? Okay. This is not a grammar class, so I'm not going to spend time on it, but I just want to give you feedback, and then later in another class we can focus on that particular grammatical area if we need to. Okay, so far so good. We've done step 1, say what you see. Giuseppe gave us step 2, guess about why. Maybe we could say a little bit more about why, though. So what I'm going to do is go to Jason. In saying about why you're seeing what you see or speculating about it, you should begin to connect it to a larger issue if you can. So why are you being shown this particular detail or this picture in a test situation? Well, to help you, you'll see a set of questions like these two. What are the benefits of learning in these situations? How enjoyable might the learning process be? So in a test situation, you'd be given a question, and the pictures are there just to give you some ideas. All right? So what I want you to do, Jason, is I'd like you to add something to step number 2. Step 2, remember, is speculate about why you're being shown the picture or the detail. Use one of those connectors, but see if you can link it back to either of those questions. What are the benefits of learning, or how enjoyable might the process be? Okay? So speculate about why. Use there may be or there might be, I suppose, I'd imagine. But see if you can connect it back to either one of those questions. What would you say, Jason? By the way, you're just giving a short answer for now. We'll put it together in a complete answer a little later. So just give me the main idea that you think.
Okay. I would say the students might answer to the question from the teacher, and it is a part of a process of learning. Language or another matter. Yeah. And the participation of students by raising their arm to form a question to the teacher is part of the process of learning a language, for example.
Okay, good. So I'm putting all the answers. They're now on page 5 of our notes, and maybe I want to add something to what you said. So you said they might be answering the question, raising your hand. If we're speaking in general, we'll say you and your. Raising your hand and taking part actively. I'm just going to add that. I think you said it earlier, but I wasn't sure. But I'm going to add it here in our answer. Raising your hand and taking part actively is part of the process of, for instance, learning a language or another matter. Instead of another matter, let's say, or anything, really. Okay, so the main idea is this active participation. I think that's what you're getting at. Does that sound right, Jason?
Yes.
Yeah? Okay, I agree. Absolutely. Okay. By the way, our answer sounds pretty good so far. We just need to connect it together a little bit, but it sounds pretty good so far. Okay, now here's the moment of truth. Who is next to you, Jason? I can't see. Oh, no, Naomi. Okay, Naomi, and now we've got Paolo over there. I didn't see you come in, Paolo. Hello.
Hi.
And Poom. Hello. Okay, so we're going to keep going around the room, adding something to our answer. Remember, all the notes are on the notes document. In the notes document, right now we're on page 5. You'll see class 16, 11th of June on page 5. So that's where I'm writing our answers. So what we're doing first is, as a class, building up our answer to what we see in the picture and why. This is great for test taking, by the way. That's what we're doing together. Then you'll have a chance to do it individually in just a moment. But first, we'll do it together and get our answers down and try to make them as clear as possible. So Naomi, you're up next. In step 3, you have to take what was said and compare it and contrast it. But in this case, you're going to compare it and contrast it to the picture on the left. So look at the picture on the left, look at the picture on the right, and think about what Jason said in particular about active participation. So that's not a bad point that he made. So you might want to make a point like that comparing the two. Look at your key expressions in, where is it, on page 4. Both things have, or both pictures have, whereas, conversely, more than, less than, the same as. These are all comparison and contrast connectors. You can use one of those or another that you like. Okay? What would you say is similar or different between the two photos? Give me one detail, and then maybe, Paolo, you'll give me another. What do you think, Naomi?
I have to use the expression in page number 4.
Yeah. You can use those, or if you have another one, we can try to add it. We can always add to these. But
Okay.
yes, try.
For example, whereas in the picture in the right, perhaps it's easier to focus the interest in the person of the teacher.
Right.
In the picture in the left, also you can focus. Well, I really I don't know if there are, if exist so many different, because like the other guy said before, it depends on your interest.
Sure. Anyway, this is your personal answer, so it's your opinion. And you don't have to contrast it. You can compare it. They can be similar. Remember, it's compare and contrast. So what you have so far is, whereas, remember, we're focusing now on the picture on the left. So I'm going to start with, sorry, we're focusing on the picture on the right. So I'm going to start with the left first if I say whereas. Because when we put whereas first, we want to start with the contrast and then bring it back to the original picture. So whereas in the picture on the left, how are the students focused that's different than the picture on the right? They seem to be focused how? Or it is easier to focus how, or it's harder to focus how, or what's the comparison here? In the picture on the right, everyone has the teacher as their center of attention, and it's a little bit easier perhaps, right? So how does that compare with the picture on the left? Are they focused on a teacher? They're not, are they?
Yes, the teacher could decide where the focus is.
In the left or the right? You mean on the right?
Yeah, in the right.
On the right, of course.
On the right.
Okay, so let's add this. Let's add this then. Taking what you said, I think what you're getting at is that on the left, they're individually focused, or they're focused on themselves and what they're doing. So that could be a point that we can compare. It's good. Let's add it. Whereas in the picture on the left, they seem to be focused on themselves and what they're doing. On the right, it is the teacher who. So look at that construction. It is the teacher who. That's what we call a cleft sentence. We add emphasis to the teacher by saying it first. It is the teacher who is the center of attention. Okay, that's good enough for now. We'll leave it up to Paolo to add a little bit of information there. So, Paolo.
Yes.
Naomi's point is about. Yeah. Fine. You do your best, and I'll help you out. I'll make corrections or whatever. But listen to how she added information to what Jason said, and Jason added information to what Faisal said. So Jason's point was taking part actively. So that's a good point. Naomi is adding that she's setting you up to say something about active participation. On the left, they're focused individually on what they're doing. On the right, they're focused on the teacher. The teacher basically can decide where to draw their attention or what they should think about. Now you have to give us the big picture. What does that imply? If the teacher is the center of attention, or if the computer is the center of attention, what does that imply about our theme? What does that say about active learning?
Okay, and the first photo, the kids are focused on their PC because I suppose it's an examination. It's during an examination.
Right, right.
So they are more concerned than the other one, the photo on the right.
Okay.
Because in the second photo, I can feel that the environment is more relaxed, more easy
relaxed.
because relaxed, yes, relaxed. Because I suppose it's not an examination or something like that. Whereas in the first part, I can see the faces of these pupils are a bit stressed and concentrated. Too much for being just a normal class.
Okay, perfect.
So it's a different context.
Good, perfect. Let me try to summarize that into one sentence. Let me just reduce that down. So I'm going to use a contrast connector, although learning is taking place in both pictures, students are most likely more relaxed in the picture on the right. Because why? Why are they more relaxed in your opinion?
Because I suppose in this picture is during a class. It's just a normal class. It's not an examination.
Okay.
So I think the teacher won't judge their students.
Because it's a normal class, and they are not being judged. They're not being judged. Okay, that's a good point.
Yes.
All right, that's very good, actually. So our answer sounds pretty good so far. We're actually building up to an answer that you could use absolutely in a test situation. Now we just have to reach a conclusion. All right, so next to you is Poom. Am I saying that right? Poom?
Yeah.
Ooh, it's a telephone.
Yeah.
All right, so Poom.
Yeah.
Okay. What we're going to do now is add to what Paolo said. So basically, in step 4 of our how to describe photos, it says offer a personal preference if it's possible. Well, Paolo set you up to answer a personal preference question. He did a good job because you can absolutely, easily give a preference between taking an exam or learning in an exam and learning in a relaxed classroom. Okay? So, if you had to choose between the two, what would you prefer to do?
I would prefer to be in the picture in the right.
Of course, so would I. So would we all. I'd prefer to be in the on the right. You don't want to be in that exact picture, but you want to be in that situation, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I prefer to be in the situation on the right. And why is that?
Because I want to be relaxed.
Okay. So let's change, instead of saying I, let's keep it about the situation. It. As it is more relaxed. As it is more relaxed, okay. And who's next to you? I can't see. Tony, why else might we want to be in the situation on the right besides the fact that it's more relaxed? Think about the main concept that we've come up with so far, which is active learning. Does being relaxed help or hurt active learning, in your opinion?
I think that being
Tony, are you there?
relaxed. Yes, do you hear me?
Okay.
Teacher,
Okay,
do
go
you
ahead.
hear me? Okay, yes. I think that being relaxed helps to learn better.
Absolutely. I think
And
that being relaxed helps, let's say, helps people to learn better than, now let's compare it to the left. It helps people to learn better than what? Tell me something about the
then
left
being
that doesn't help.
then being examined.
Than being under pressure.
Yes.
Under pressure in.
Sorry,
And
teacher.
under pressure because I think it's more. Okay. All right. Yuki, can you add something from your personal experience?
Yes.
You can talk about active learning. You can talk about being under pressure or not being under pressure. Is there something in either photograph that you can relate to personally?
Mm-hmm. I personally prefer the conventional class as showing in second picture. Uh, Although computer class sounds popular and new, students can learn individually. It depends on student can learn depending on their achievement, their progress of their study, and computer give questions in real time, but such a method of learning, computer learning, tend to be dull. So as compared with the computer class, in conventional class showing in second picture sounds old, but I think teacher try. If it's a good teacher, he do their best to communicate with the students, and they can talk interesting story, and student can feel a sympathy to the teacher. That's great advantage in the conventional class. And on the interesting side note, the teacher in second picture is going bold on his top. I think that such a factor increase the interest and sympathy from the student.
Hang on one second here.
That's a little
lot of
about
information.
the impression.
That's a bit
my impression
about
from these classes on picture.
from pictures. Okay. Just a second. On an interesting side note, is going bald,
I'm
and that may help increase the student
sympathy.
sympathy.
Student can feel close to close to the teacher
Because he's bald?
because of bald.
They feel sorry
because
for him?
teacher because teacher is more friendly.
Is that right? I didn't know that. Okay. And that may, I mean, Dick Cheney is bald. He's not friendly. Okay, but maybe.
That's what computer cannot do.
Vladimir Putin is kind of going bald. He's getting a little.
Maybe the popularity.
He's not friendly.
But in Russia, Vladimir Putin is very popular.
Oh, okay. So maybe
I don't
I'm wrong.
know why. Maybe his balding head.
Yeah.
Maybe
is
a cause of his popularity. Maybe.
Good. Maybe. Okay. All right. So let's take a step back and see what we've got. I'm going to read the whole answer. I may have to fill in some details here. You can also take a look on page 5 of our notes. Let's hear how it sounds. I'm probably going to need to add a few connectors here and there, but let's hear how it sounds. Of course, we need to start with well, because that's how we start. Any kind of new idea, we tend to say well. Well, there seems to be a teacher in the middle of the classroom taking questions from students. That should say questions. Let me add that, not question. Now, but that's new information, so I have to give an and connector. You don't have to, I suppose. You can just say I suppose. Let's keep it. Well, there seems to be a teacher in the middle of the classroom taking questions from students. In the picture on the okay, so now we've identified the picture. I suppose he has introduced some topic and is asking students what they think about it. They might be answering the question. They might be answering the question by. They might be answering the question since we can see raising their hands. I'm just going to make a little change here. Learning this way is taking part actively, and I think it is part of the process. For instance, in learning language or anything really. Okay, we have to clean this up a little bit, but the idea is pretty good. Next connector. Whereas in the picture on the left, they seem to be focused on themselves and what they're doing. On the right, it is the teacher who is the center of attention. I'm going to underline that. It is the teacher who, because that is something that you should try to reproduce on your own. The cleft sentence form. When you want to give emphasis, start with it is blank who, or it is blank that. So that's a really good tool for you to use. In fact, I'll underline it. It is the teacher who is the center of attention. Okay, next connector. Although learning is taking place in both pictures, students are most likely more relaxed in the picture on the right because, I suppose, it's a normal class and they are not being judged by anyone. Next connector. I'd prefer to be in the situation on the right as it is more relaxed, as I mentioned. Okay, because I said that before, so a little connector there to refer backwards to something I said. I prefer to be in the situation on the right as it is more relaxed, as I should say, as I had mentioned. Furthermore, now giving more information, so I'm going to put an and connector, an and word, like furthermore. in addition to as well. Furthermore, I think that being relaxed helps people learn better overall than being put under. Personally, I would. I'd prefer the more conventional uh, classroom depicted in the picture on the right. Though computer classes may be more popular these days. So I'm just trying to condense what Yuki said into something a little bit more concise, a lot of ideas. So I'm going to try to condense it and make it a little bit shorter. I prefer the more conventional classroom depicted in the picture on the right, though computer classes may be more popular these days. And now I have to give the reason why. Those sorts of classes tend to be dull. That's the reason why the conventional class is better. So I'd say that conventional classes may seem old-fashioned or out of date, but if it is a good teacher, he or she will do his or her best, and students can relate to the material much better than in an in-person setting like we. Oh! Interesting side note, the teacher is going at
It doesn't matter.
and that may increase the students'
Please ignore me.
sympathy.
Please ignore it.
Sympathy. Connect even better than before. Sounds pretty good. And then we have to finish with so. So that's a bit about my impression from these pictures. Well, it sounds pretty good. If I were grading this in an exam situation, I'd be pretty pleased with that answer. It's not bad. What do you think about our answer so far? Is that an answer that you might give in a test situation? Everyone like it? Are we cool? Yeah? No?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Cool.
Okay. Cool. Here's what we're going to do. To end class, we're going to go to the third picture in the first set, which you'll see on the next page. I don't know what it is. And what I would like you to do, take a minute, and I'd like to do this in kind of pairs. So we've got Faisal and Giuseppe, Jason and Pum, and then finally Tony and Yuki. So you're going to be finishing each other's points. So one person is going to bring up a point, the next person is going to try to extend it or add to it in some way, following the same format that we used. Okay? So what I'm going to do is, let's do it like this. I'll tell you the page in just a second. It looks like it's on page 7. So now you're going to have a chance to compare all 3 pictures. Okay? We're going to do this orally. I'm not going to write it. You can use what I wrote as a guideline, though. All right? Let's go from right to left, starting with Yuki and then Tony. So you're going to do step 1, Yuki and Tony. Step 2, Pum and Jason. Step 3, Giuseppe and Faisal. And then I'll call on volunteers to give a personal preference at the end, or maybe we can all do it. Okay, we've got to go a little bit quickly, so keep your answers a little bit short. Yuki, you start us off with page 7, picture 3.
Page 7.
Page 7, or yeah, and the notes, picture 3. I'll share the screen. Sorry, let me put it back on screen.
Maybe my screen, page 8. This is the 3 picture. Yeah.
Take a look. I'll put it.
First picture is in the restaurant. No.
See it?
Yeah.
Look on the screen now.
No. I see. Previous picture. Okay.
Okay. So you and Tony are going to work together Remember, our overall question is about the benefits of learning and how enjoyable the process might be. That's our overall question. Yuki, you and Tony, start us off. Yuki, you go first with step 1, which is say what you see. I'd like you each to give a detail that you see in this picture.
Well, there appear to be the cooking class. Students are all men, and they are most likely it seems to be the students in the cooking class. In the cooking class, they are learning how to cook the cake, maybe.
They're learning how to make a cake.
It seems to be. It seems that they are learning how to cook the cake.
How to cook a cake? Wait a second.
How to cook a cake.
Wait, how to cook a cake? Wait a second. I just corrected you. Not cook. How to make a cake.
How to make a cake. One of the students is stirring the paste.
No.
The
batter. The
batter. Yes, stirring the batter for the cake, and others closely seeing, watching his steering.
Okay, very good, very good. We're short on time. So, Tony, give us another detail that you see. Add to what Yuki's saying. You can add or you can comment at any point. What would you say, Tony?
Yes, I see that the students are very interested to learn how to make this.
Not interested. Not interested. Not interested.
Involved.
The students are clearly engaged. Okay, good. Involved. I was going to say engaged, but involved is good. That's good. The students are clearly involved. How do you know that?
Because they look very carefully the teacher.
Okay, because they're watching very carefully to what the teacher is showing the student, the first one. Fantastic. Poom, we're going to move on to stage 2. Guess why you're being shown this. Remember, the overall idea was in the previous page. Oh, it's not going to the previous page. Hold on. The overall idea was about, sorry, I can't turn the page for some reason. It was about how enjoyable the learning process might be and what are the benefits of learning in these different situations. That's the overall idea. Okay, so Poom, you're going to add an idea, guessing or speculating about why you're looking at this picture.
Okay, I suppose the man on the left are showing
the man second to the left, second in from the left.
Okay,
because he's the man on the left is not a man. It's the boy. So the teacher, is second from the left.
Okay, the man in the second from the left is showing students how to make some ingredients.
Okay, good. So he's demonstrating for them.
Yes.
Okay, very good. So that's a detail. He's demonstrating. Now you have to speculate about why you're seeing that. You don't have to compare and contrast yet, but just say why. What does that have to do with active learning, or what does that have to do with the benefits of learning in this kind of situation? What's the benefit, you think?
So they can make a cake after this class.
So, in other words, by being shown what to do in a demonstration, they can then more easily do it themselves, right, by being shown it. Okay, Jason, what would you add to the speculation part in step 2? Try to think about the reason why you're looking at this picture in relation to learning.
Oh, they might attend their first course kitchen
Right.
course, and to do the aim of the lesson is to make a cake or a bakery
On their own.
on the home, and they have to use a different tool like a knife or fork or spoon with some flour.
With some what?
Flour.
Flu?
Flour, the powder, the white powder to make
Flour.
flour. Yeah.
Yeah.
Voilà.
Okay. And why are we looking at this in relation to learning? If we were in a test situation, why would the instructor or the interviewer give us this picture? What's he trying to make us, what is he or she trying to make us think about? What's this got to do with learning?
In the process of learning, demonstrating to other to its students how to make a cake. It's a good way to
teach.
Take part to teach.
Oh,
yes.
Okay, to take part actively. Okay, good. So it goes back to active learning. It's active learning because they're really doing something, aren't they? They have to participate. I agree completely with that. We're on to step 3, compare and contrast. Giuseppe, and then finally Faisal. Compare and contrast to something you're familiar with. By demonstrating to students, they have to take part actively, which we know is a good way to learn. So compare and contrast that with something you're familiar with, what you see, or what Jason just mentioned, Giuseppe.
Okay. Even though they make a training on the job, I'd rather prefer to be on a single training. How can I say a training with one person? Individual training.
Because?
Because it is better, and you can practice more. Because you can practice more and have benefits about in training individually.
Okay, good. Well, you actually skipped to step 4 instead of step 3, but that's okay, because you're giving your personal preference. So, Faisal, I want you to go back to step 3 and compare it and contrast it. I said there in the notes something you're familiar with, but actually we need to compare and contrast it to the other 2 pictures. So what could you say to compare and contrast it to the other 2 types of learning that we've seen in the previous pictures? Here they are, by the way. You got the individual learning at the computer, and then you've got the classroom learning situation.
Okay. So what should contrast with the third picture?
Yeah, that's right. Contrast the third with these 2.
Oh, yeah. Okay. However, learning this practical situation is working at a face-to-face situation rather than internet through the media, through the YouTube or through the television. So in conventional class or practical class, meeting class, in this way could improve our skill in cooking, and then we've got a coach by the teachers directly instead of learning through by watching in YouTube or television.
Okay, absolutely. And so you could even start by saying, whereas learning is taking place in all three situations, in pictures 2 and 3, it's happening directly in a face-to-face situation. And maybe that would be, maybe as we've discussed, it would be better in that situation because there's a personal connection to the teacher. Then Giuseppe, you could step in and say, I'd prefer to be in the conventional class, but in a individualistic sort of, in an individual training, because you'll get the most personal attention in that kind of situation. And that would be a pretty good answer to our question. Not bad. Well, listen, everyone. What I'll leave you with is this. I'll leave you with the next set of pictures to try on your own, and you can do it in 2 ways. You'll see the next set of pictures there with the next question. How easy might it be for people to make a choice in these situations? How important might it be for them to make the right choice? You have 2 options as a homework if you want to do it. You could write your answer using the steps we discussed on page 4, or you could record it and send it to me as an MP3, but make sure you've practiced it 2 or 3 times before recording it, because its recording's got to be really, really short. 2 minutes maximum, if not shorter. So you can either write it as a short text or record it and send it to me, and I'll give you feedback on the second set of pictures as a homework. Okay? So think about that. We're going to stop now because we're way over time. I'm like 10 minutes late for the next class, so I've got to stop right now. It was great working with everyone. We're going to pick up a new skill next week, and I'll send you a link to this document through Verbling so you can try the next set of pictures as a homework, either by writing or by recording, and I'll give you personal feedback on that sometime during the weekend if you send it to me now. Okay? Great to see everyone again. I'll see you in just a minute and a half for the next class, the business class, which is how to talk about success, coming up right now. Bye for now. See you soon.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Sure.
Bye-bye.